Why else would I do this? I'm not in it for me. I live on 150 and a mule, and I'm perfectly happy and at peace with my life. This is a God's calling. God called me from Dallas, Texas to Jackson, Mississippi to provoke change. Rhetoric. Why else would I do this? I'm not in it for me. I live on 150 and a mule, and I'm perfectly happy and at peace with my life. This is a God's calling. God called me from Dallas, Texas to Jackson, Mississippi to provoke change.
I mean, let's talk, man. Big news on the college football scene. One, first and foremost, congratulations to Deion Sanders being the new, I think it's the 28th head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes. National champions, I believe, in 1990. Very prestigious program, done some big things. Actually, one of my mentors was a former strength and conditioning coach there, a guy by the name of Dave Plettle. Good stuff. Anytime that I believe, we're underrepresented, obviously I'm underrepresented in college football. But let me just, do you got that video, Miles? We've got that thing cleaned up real quick because I can't wait to see the seasonings go to the Midwest, to Colorado. It's very white. I think Boulder, Colorado is like 1.58% African American, if I remember correctly. Basically, meaning all the black people play sports out there. But Dion's definitely going to make it a little bit more ethnic, and it's going to make it a little bit. It's going to again add a little bit of something other than paprika. But this is kind of how I feel that this is going to go a little bit with Prime right here, because he has made everything at JSU pretty sassy and pretty dope. So go ahead and play that, because he did this pretty regularly.
They gave me my theme music. They gave me my theme music.
You can hear that all the time. Man, nobody knows how to spark more controversy than the one Deion Neon Primetime, former Florida State Seminole, arguably the greatest defensive back to ever play the college football game. And social media has been really hit or miss, depending upon which side of the coin that you're going to. But one of the things that I've seen, in particular since I've been in media, but I've definitely noticed in the social media era, I like to look at social media as an opportunity to be a fake social scientist, if you would. I love poking the bear. One of the things that the Dr. Edward Vertuno, my speech and debate teacher, taught me was, if I can't argue the other side, I don't really know what I'm talking about from my side. What are the holes in your argument? What is the way that people are going to attack you? And what I'm learning is most adults have no idea how to have constructive dialogue, nor how to talk to other people who have a differing opinion than you. Everything has to be vilified. Everything has to be a hate. Everything has to be, if you don't agree with me, you're the enemy. And I think that's very sophomorish, very childish, very stupid, very idiotic of a way to think. I believe in this concept. Multiple things can be true at the same time. Very few things are just strictly black and white. Very few things are one way or the other. Deion Sanders, congratulations. You are the second black coach to go from HBCU to FBS. The last one happened in the late 70s. You are one of the few coaches, I believe 4 African-American head coaches that are in college, in FBS football right now. You are a Power 5 coach, and that is a great come up. That is dope. You did a lot for Jackson State, and you brought a lot of publicity to HBCUs in the last 2 years. You also kind of used the system, and hey, more power to you. One thing that I've learned in all of this is that black people have, and this is, you get a chance to listen in on this conversation. But black people as a whole, we have to start asking, what do we want? And there's nothing wrong with commanding accountability. Accountability in humans, I used to say accountability in women, but accountability in adults is like children and vegetables. You don't want to eat it. We feel like you should be able to do anything. You should do anything you want and have no accountability for your words. But where I'm from, words have meaning, and words, like, you can be held accountable for your words, whether you're a coach or not. I do say this: if a college coach is talking, a college coach is lying, more than likely. But they're telling their variation of the truth to fit the narrative in which they need to be successful. But that's lying. That even embellishment is lying, no matter how you get around it. Dion did use it. That's not hating on Dion for the situation that he's in. Dion is only obligated to take care of Deion Sanders and his family, because I have eloquently said this since I first met Deion Sanders in 2004. Deion Sanders is about one person, Deion fucking Sanders. He is not about the black. He is not about black causes. He is not about the empowerment of anybody but Deion Sanders and those who are around Deion Sanders that he can help and bless and do that. And that's all he's obligated to. But at the same time, you people who are co-signing on this have to realize that a lot of you guys have tweets. A lot of you guys have opinions about what other people should be doing, and it's not congruent or consistent with what it is that you are letting Deion Sanders off on the hook for. The biggest argument when it comes to HBCUs and PWIs is that 17 and 19-year-old boys and girls should sacrifice their opportunities, their livelihoods, their well-being to go to HBCUs. So what we're saying is the children should forego better opportunities than the elders who have made their money and made their marks. Miles, can you go play that first clip? Because just in case you're just coming on, make sure you go at sportsden_live and check all of this. Not that one. Not that one. We're gonna get to that. The first clip where it was the TikTok that I had. So I want us again, just so people don't understand. When I talk to people, I hold them accountable based upon what it is that they say, not the intent. This is what Deion Sanders said in his introductory press conference, not in a 60-minute, it's not press conference, excuse me, introductory interview on national TV, not on 60 Minutes recently, but why did you come to Jackson State of all places, Deion Sanders? And if you got that, Miles, let's play this again. So I want you to hear it.
Rhetoric. Why else would I do this? I'm not in it for me. I live on 150 and a mule, and I'm perfectly happy and at peace with my life. This is a God's calling. God called me from Dallas, Texas to Jackson, Mississippi to provoke change.
First and foremost, what I've learned in my short adult life is that when people start bringing God into stuff, they lying. Shut up. I learned it when I was a kid. Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. They used to have, like, my mom's church. They used to have like Easter plays, Christmas plays, and things. We used to travel, go back and forth to the Northeast to go visit people. They would say stuff like, "Oh, God told me, James, that you're supposed to be in this play," and I would tell them as a youngster, "God ain't tell me nothing. You might have been listening to the devil. Like, I don't know what you listen to." I'm gonna tell you this: the same person that's talking to Deion Sanders is the same person that's talking inside of Kanye West's head, and that's their ego. And it's not, again, nothing wrong with it. But in that statement, Deion Sanders made some very pivotal things, said some very pivotal things. And he was consistent with that all the way up until this year. What Deion Sanders said was that this was God ordained. God told me to leave Texas. This ain't about money. This ain't about Deion. I got 150 acres and a mule. Meaning I'm good. I got money. This is about a greater cause. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to break down why people are upset. Then I'm going to break down why you shouldn't be upset. And then I'm going to hopefully put to bed the rest, because I'm going to have to talk about it a little bit on the show. But I wanted to have a dedicated situation so I don't have to speak about this on an hour show when so many other great things happen. In particular, Jackson State winning their second consecutive SWAC championship, and the young men who are going to stay there and are not getting the honor in which they need to get. Now, I want you to be an adult. Now, if you listen to Den Media Group, we have a rule. I don't care what you think. I just care that you think. The world doesn't operate like this. They did it so I can do it. If somebody else slaps the fuck out of you, do I get to slap the fuck out of you because they did it? No, you're going to be upset, right? I would hope so. If I piss on you because I saw it, but I give you $100, is it okay for me to pee on you because I gave you money? No, you're not going to say that. So let's stop using that white coaches or other coaches have done this, and let's just strictly use what we have right here so that we can heal and move on, because my number one priority is the greatness in which I believe historically Black colleges and universities are and what they can do and what they can present. I also want Deion Sanders as an African-American coach to be successful, because if he's successful, that means there's going to be opportunities for other guys to do it, some of which are my friends who are in coaching, and I want them to progress as well. Then we're going to talk about some of the rumors of who he's hiring, some of the staff, and hopefully you guys are engaging in spirited debate. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I love the comments, especially on Facebook. YouTube, unfortunately, the comments are going to die when the live chat is over. I can't see that shit. I don't, that ain't nothing but words. So, Miles, if you see something interesting and you want to put it up, I can see it when it comes up on the screen, but I can't see it when it's in there. But please continue to make comments and any questions or anything that I may skip over. I want you to please hold me accountable, and because that's one of the things I love to do. As a man, I fall short, but I damn sure try to do what I say I'm going to do. And when I don't do it, and if somebody tells me, I may have a reason, but I'm not going to try to. I don't need people to run and fall on the sword for me. Because at the end of the day, it truly doesn't matter. Because guess what? The fucks that Deion gives are zero. Matter of fact, I used to love this. Like, if you were standing on a cliff and all you needed was a fuck to survive. I mean, if you were hanging off a cliff and all you needed was one fuck to get up off of that cliff, and Deion was walking around with a pocket full of fucks, Deion would not give you one. You know why? Because Deion doesn't give a fuck. That's how you should view Deion Sanders. And unfortunately, some people some of the elders that I know who love HBCU have come and said, James, we're sorry. You were right. You were this. And I promise you guys, I do not. This is the one thing I do not want to be right about. I never wanted to be right about. And anybody who tries to make this a stupid PWI versus HBCU argument, I think you're an idiot. And I think you're a muckraker. And I think you should be shot. No, my bad. Hold on, Mark. I don't mean that. Elon, I don't mean that. Like, please don't bam this. Not this one. You can bam Big Game, but this is on Sports Dens page. Please don't bam that. All right. So, think pieces. One written by a dude named Karan J. Phillips 9 hours ago, and woo, he is heated. He is perturbed. And he talked about this. Deion Sanders is done with historically Black colleges, has chosen to leave an undefeated Black school for a major payday at a predominantly white institution that has a football team that went 1-11. This is the article. Sanders is leaving JSU after 3 seasons. That's not the part. Where's the part where he gets into it? Sanders, and this isn't Deion's fault. It is, but it kind of is because of the way Deion talks. Deion talks with that cadence of a pastor. Deion talks with the repetitive motions. Deion took all of the things that I've heard packaged about HBCUs for my entire life, especially the HBCU versus the PWI argument. Why do y'all go to these PWIs and work for the white man? And because you can go to the NFL here. Think about the Deion, think about the Walter Paytons of the world, the Jerry Rices, the this, the that. Think about all these different things that are going on. You could be that. You can be that. You can do that here. Well, Sanders, and while painting himself as the guy who's going to bring this renaissance, while being painted as a savior, I put it out today that there's going to be that based on some of you guys' thought process, there are 3 pictures and images that need to be on every Black athlete's mantelpiece: Black Jesus, Obama, and Deion Sanders. The way y'all made it seem is like Deion sacrificed himself for the betterment of Black people. And what sucks is some of you guys actually went to HBCUs, and some of you guys actually went to or coach at HBCUs. And if that's the way you think, I can't have kids around you because you have a loser mentality. And that's not because I dislike you. That's not hating on you. That's you not understanding the culture of Billy Joe. You're not understanding the culture of Eddie Robinson Sr. You're not understanding the culture of a Jake Gaither. You're not understanding the culture of FAMU being the first and only HBCU to win a national championship in the FCS. Not understanding Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University with Billy Joe going to the FCS championship and playing at Youngstown State. It should have won and played in the national championship in the recent era. during my lifetime. You wasn't in Tallahassee when in the 90s when it was hopping because FAMU was just as good as Florida State in the terms of their world. That was well before Dion. Casey Prentice, all kinds of heavy transfers had been going to HBCUs well before Deion Sanders, and it was heavily publicized. I'd argue that in the 90s, there was more coverage over HBCUs than there are even right now. Just a couple of primetime, not even prime, truly ESPN primetime. Just a couple games that got that got a little bit of national coverage, and you should be grateful for that. But you guys saw these things happening, and you automatically elevated this to Dion. I even saw a conversation today where somebody said, without Dion, Eddie George wouldn't have took the job at Tennessee State. When you didn't understand that that was in place well before Deion Sanders was even known to be at Jackson State, even though the athletic director at Jackson State, Ashley, is a phenomenal individual from what I understand, incredibly smart, incredibly gifted man who's probably one of the best ADs in HBCUs. But we'll get into what HBCUs need to do. But this is what the guy, Karen Phillips, said. Sanders wasn't a savior for HBCUs. He was a Pied Piper playing a hypnotizing song that put those who refused to educate themselves on his past into a trance. He was a pimp that used JSU and HBCUs like cheap prostitutes to further his self-promotion. And for all the people who are still in denial about who Sanders was before he showed up, who he was during his short tenure at JSU, and who he will always be, you are living in a fairy tale world. This isn't a situation in which Bob Iger has hired Tyler Perry to write a screenplay for a new Pixar film. This is a real life, and you're being bamboozled by your unwillingness to admit that you believed in an egotistical clown who sold out the culture while he always understood that your inability to accept facts would leave you in the middle of debates saying simplistic things like, "But he got the program on ESPN," as your only pitiful argument. Now, very maybe a little bit over the top, very emotional in those words. I would not go that far, but like, did he lie? Most coaches need a college degree. Deion Sanders went to Florida State. Deion Sanders does not have a Florida State degree because you would have to do things like go to class. Deion Sanders went to an HBCU. I think it was Talladega or something like that. It wasn't Talladega, but it's a certain HBCU. I forgot. I can't think of the name. Trying to do my research here before you HBCU people come out here and tell me to know what I'm talking about before I get up here. But anyways, he went to an HBCU to get his degree. That was the only school that would reach out and allow him to get his degree. And Deion Sanders went and also got the only job that would give him an opportunity with Jackson State. They gave him his opportunity, and then he excelled and did what most people do. But he did that all the while getting guys like Travis Hunter to come in. And what was amazing about Travis Hunter is you could tell he didn't word this because Travis Hunter is very young, very intelligent, but also very young. But I'm going to read Travis Hunter's decommitment note for Florida State because obviously I'm a Florida State guy, and I looked at this. Florida State has always been a beacon for me. I grew up down there. That's where my roots are, and I never doubted that I would play for the Seminoles. It is a dream that's hard to let go of, but sometimes we are called to step in. Sometimes we are called to step into a bigger future than the one we imagined for ourselves. For me, that future is at Jackson State University. Jerry Rice, Doug Williams, and of course the legend JSU's own Walter Payton. Historically Black colleges and universities have a rich history in football. I want to be a part of that history and more, and I want to be a part of that future. I am making this decision so that I can light the way for others to follow. Make it a little easier for the next player to recognize that HBCUs may be everything you want and more. An exciting college experience, a vital community, and life-changing place to play football. I look forward to working with the iconic Deion Sanders and especially with my fellow Tigers. Along with Coach Prime, they have made me feel like I am already a part of the team, like I'm home, and I can't wait to welcome the next class of top athletes into the HBCUs. That feels, that's stirring if it wasn't full of shit. Because this young man's probably about to transfer out. Because this young man bought, and this is why the guy said he's a Pied Piper. See, in some situations, you would call this manipulation of a child. I don't care that he went to an HBCU. I think it's awesome that he went to an HBCU. I think it's awesome that a guy was coaching at an HBCU. But I also think let's call it what it is. and stop pretending that it's not. Dion's job is is to be able to collect the best talent. He collected the best talent on a dream that why not us? Why not us? We are just as good. We are just as good. And here is why people are upset with Dion. Because you told the truth. Finally. And this is the hard truth. You won't accept this from white America. You call it racism. But I'm going to tell you the truth. There are coaches that I've seen in documents and things that I've had in discussions. You can go look into my timeline and you can go click on their bios and you can see it. But you are not good enough. You aren't. You're not good enough. You allowed somebody to come in and lift you up and make you believe that you were something that you are not. You are not a Power Five conference, but you knew that and you decided to turn the other cheek. You're upset, and they're upset because somebody played on your weaknesses. They manipulated you like the pretty girl that knew that you were good in math. She did not like you. She just needed an A. And unfortunately, you will never see a range because guys who have seen your inner workings in your administrations, who have seen the facts of the struggle, who have actually been there, been more than just going to an HBCU, have family that work at HBCUs and have seen the inner workings and actually know what the hell is going on. See, right now, when you come up to my son and you tell him that you're good and why not choose us? Come to the HBCU. You could get to the NFL here. You know what my son, who's logical, is going to say? Dion didn't stay. Wasn't good enough for Dion. Why should it be good enough for me? Why should I sacrifice myself? Dion even knew that some of the kids that he was selling was on bullshit because when he did his let's go and check out some of the other videos, Miles, because there are videos. Again, I'm not guys. You gotta remember, I wanted to be a lawyer growing up. So when I'm coming to you, I'm coming to you with evidence. And if you're gonna argue with me, I need you to before that's actually the cool stuff. We're gonna get into why his ass left in a second. But before you get into it with me about some of these things, I need you to address the actual evidence. Damn, we didn't bring up all the stuff. It was the actual long. Oh, it's the tweet with him sitting in a white chair, with him addressing his players at JSU. I will say this though, in the address to the JSU players, it was probably one of the most tasteful addresses that I've seen. Click that one. No, not that one, not that one. That's yeah, this one right here. So even in the beginning of this, I want to hear this one too, if you don't know. You got to push pause on the YouTube. We're going to get this thing going real quick. Dion talking to his JSU players about him leaving. And I ain't going to lie. Like I said, one of the more tasteful times when the coach leaves with the athletic director there for those who will be listening to this on the SoundCloud.
Time for the nitty gritty. I know y'all been hearing the rumors and everything that's been transparent around about my whereabouts and what I'm going to do. And I like y'all to hear it from me and not from anyone else. It is what it is. Either in coaching, you get elevated or you get terminated. Ain't no other way. You either elevated or terminated. And it ain't no grade.
Actually, can you push pause real quick? Let's break down this. You could be elevated or terminated. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Dion be having some bars, bro. Eddie Robinson was at HBCUs forever. Billy Joe was there until he did good. It's not elevated or terminated. It's either you're winning or you're not. So again, when I go back to what Dion said in the first place, Dion said, now this is not doing anything but taking what he's saying and not trying to manipulate it and not even trying to put it in context, take it out of context. Just trying to say, like, you said this was God's calling for you. You ain't even see a class out the door. One class. But, and you were put on a pedestal. Wasn't nobody firing you from Jackson State, but you had to strike when it was hot. So I give you props for that. That's true. So let's go back to
upon your own recognizance. I've chosen to accept the job elsewhere next year. I'm going to finish what we started. We're going to dominate. I'm going to be here to that end and that conclusion. And then when that conclusion, we will move on. Now, what I don't want you to do is thinking
here's
something
important.
is better
No.
on the other side in regards to some of you. I would like to have the opportunity to meet with some of you so you don't go and jump in the portal and you die in the portal.
See, push pause
I
real
don't
quick.
want that to happen.
So this is why I always say if a coach is talking, the coach is lying. I have a Power 5 roster. I have a talented roster. I am going to go coach at a 1-11 school. Now, before y'all hit that portal, I don't want some of y'all to get lost in that portal. Now, don't think you coming with me. Matter of fact, he could have just said, man, and on that note, man, fuck them kids. Shador, play my theme music. That's basically what he said. Now, he goes into a lot of other different things. But the reality of the situation is that Deion, as an adult, as the elder, knew what he was doing when he went into this situation. He knew the words that would kind of stir, like a minister. He knew the inflections. He knew the words that would stir up and cause emotional responses. He was able to get guys like Travis Hunter and some other really talented players to be able to come on board and help fulfill his mission and dream. And don't get it twisted. It is no different than other people, but he knew the situation that he was being exalted into. He read the articles. He saw what the other people were saying. He knew exactly what was happening, yet he chose to not be transparent from the gate. And one thing that women always love to say about players is if you would have told me everything, I tell people this all the time in relationships. You'd be surprised at what I'm willing to accept if you tell me the truth. Don't let me find out the crazy later on. That's when I'm not going to handle it well. But again, I think it was cool that he actually did sit down there with the athletic director. He did talk about who he believes that he wants to be the next head coach. And I think TC, and I don't know who it is, but I want to also kind of nick at a lot of these other different things. A lot of people tried to make it seem like it was about getting his coaches more money. Prom's not bringing hardly any of them on. So it's not about bringing his coaches more money because he's not bringing his coaches. But we'll get into the breaking down of the potentials and the rumors of his staff here shortly and what I actually think Deion Sanders could actually do at Colorado. But let's now go into the change of heart, and you can get rid of the of that last video because we're not going to go back to that anymore. Let's go. Yeah, let's go to his press conference, and then we'll go back. That's him walking through. It's him sitting down because there's some gems in that, like this one right here. There's some things in there that I think are interesting. Because it's a change of heart and it's a change of tune that I find disturbing, in my opinion, because you came in and it was black, it was pro-black. But now you use this and you know exactly what people are talking about, Deion. You're an incredibly intelligent man. And again, when people say they don't understand why people are hurt, I don't think anybody's mad at Deion. I think in a few weeks this will all go away. But if you don't understand why people are hurt, I think you're being purposely naive. But go ahead, push play.
Just because I'm leaving Jackson, they think that I'm leaving African American. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm black.
I love that he did say that in probably a room full of white people.
How I am and how I go about being that. So it is still my task to look in that locker room and see 65 to 70% of African American men trying to help them get to the next level, as well as all the others. My calling is for young men, young women, and people of all walks of life.
Did you just all lives matter us?
That's my calling. My calling is not built on a location. It's built on a destination. Yeah, that was good. You're supposed to clap for that.
That's why I say, man, when people start when people start talking to me about God again, I'm not bashing anybody's religion. I love it. I think people need something to center them, and I think it's good. But yeah, man, you just went from like it's like, okay, for everybody who doesn't now, HBCUs understand why Florida State fans were so upset by Jimbo Fisher. It wasn't that Jimbo Fisher left for more money. It's how Jimbo Fisher left. Jimbo had 75 million reasons to leave Florida State. Deion has about 4.7 million reasons to leave Jackson State. You said it wasn't about the money. You said it was God's plan, like Drake. You said these things. Nobody forced your hand to say that. You said those things. But now it's God's plan for you to leave and probably take the best talent with you. That's what God does? I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let me tell you about this thing about God. I really don't think God gives a fuck about what happens with a football team. I'm level with you. You can get mad at me and try to cancel me, but God sat there and let slavery happen. I'm pretty sure he doesn't give a fuck what happens in Boulder, Colorado. So we can stop sprinkling God on our own ambitions and on our own things. There are doors that get open. There are things that happen, but the reality of the situation is, Deion, you did what was best for you, and that's okay. Just be playing with it. That's all I'm asking. At some point in your life, be real, even if it's just with your kids. His son Shiloh is heated. If you don't know who Shiloh Sanders is, most America doesn't know who Shiloh Sanders is because Deion don't ever show Shiloh Sanders. Deion shows Shadur, the one that's good, the quarterback of Colorado, the one in the introductory prep. Miles, imagine you ain't never met your coach. You the quarterback. You just got recruited. Hey, I want to introduce y'all to y'all quarterback, Shadur Sanders. Like, you know you're not going to beat the coach's kid out. If anybody gets an opportunity, it's going to be him. But Shiloh out here, Shiloh was minding his own business at a PWI, mind you, South Carolina, eating 4 square meals, getting all the supplements, great facilities, running water. Shiloh said, man, my daddy is leaving to go to get ahead. You goddamn right I'm going to go follow my pa. Followed his pa, burnt his transfer. Now stuck in fucking Mississippi without his pa. Daddy hops the private jet with my brother and my sister. I'm sitting here in the projects chilling. I'm going to put it in context for y'all because a lot of y'all go over here and cap for people that you've never met and would never piss on you if you were on fire. But you know me. You've seen Killer. You have seen Trey. Killer's my favorite. Trey's got my name. Imagine Trey's at Florida State. I decide I want to get into coaching. And I go get a job at Savannah State for the culture. Right? I say, Trey, I need you to come with daddy over here to Savannah State for the culture. Trey burns his the one-time transfer fee they give you, comes over there, follows his dad, the same person, believes in what his dad is saying to do, puts it on his chest, all on his social media. Daddy, I'm with you. I'm riding with the name. For me to have Killer, who's an all-world 4-star prospect, I'm like, man, come on, Killer. You over here with me, Killer. And then me and Killer go ride off to Georgia and leave his ass in Savannah with Lunchables. This is who y'all caping for. Do you realize what y'all are doing, guys? This man is despicable. Any other black man would do this. Y'all women would be on Maury Povich. Y'all would be crushing this guy. It's honorable because nobody will recruit your son to be a Power 5 quarterback, but you believed in your son so much that you went and sacrificed your whole career to make sure he could be a Power 5 quarterback, but said, fuck your other son. in his life. And you just leaving him there. Like, he can't come. He's a senior. You couldn't even see your eldest son graduate. Do you understand how green that is? Or is that just me? Like, nobody else sees this? I mean, y'all, this is y'all. Can you see why some people might be upset a little bit? Is it hitting you yet? Now, don't get it twisted. Shiloh's not really great, but I'm just saying, like, Shiloh at the same time, man. Shiloh is just in the cut, man. He had his daughter there. She took the private jet. Babyface's wife was on the private jet. Yeah, that's not his current first wife. That's Babyface's wife. Oh, man, you people are just y'all are hilarious, man. But anyways, though, show the but I will say this though. All in all, I get it. Deion was never for the culture, and again, it's not him. Y'all made him that, but that's why people are upset. That's why people are really hurt. But you can't get mad at progress. I would go to these facilities too. If you go look at the Colorado facilities, this makes me upset at my alma mater because, like, yo, we need to get our shit together, Florida State. This man wanted to. I mean, they ain't no good, but goddamn, them facilities is good. Them facilities is winter facilities. Like, and it's cold, and I'm thinking about the locker room. There's a lot of space you can roll around and stretch out, do all kinds of stuff, man. But you're gonna see Shadur in this, and you're gonna see his daughter, and you're gonna see Babyface's wife, ex-wife, and you're not gonna see Shiloh. No Shiloh. Poor Shiloh. Look at that. That was by the way, that was Shadur who he had his hand on. Look at your new locker room, son. Look at it. It's just got a good cheese, that good grin right there. Kind of look like a rat, but it's all good. But like, it's just saying, like, Master Splinter rat. That's it. Come on, son. We done made it, baby. All right, but that's the locker room's nice, man. It's dope. I don't know how they're 1-11 with all this dopeness. And if you go, let's see what other stuff we had up there, Miles, with Colorado. But he went up there. You can delete that. Checked it out. Really cool graphics. And before I get into those, so you leave that up there. Roland Martin put up some really, really good stuff. And what he put up was, and now Roland Martin's also just on the top. I don't understand why people are mad. Shut up, Roland. Like, you do understand why people are mad. Y'all do understand why people are mad. You just don't want to admit, and you feel accountability is hating, and it's not. It's just holding him accountable to his words. But he left. But this is the truth of the matter about HBCUs, and this is where we need to have candid, real conversations, because I actually do care. Today, during my Black Star Network pregame show, the Jackson State alumni president said 13% of their graduates give back to the university. That means 87% don't send back money, don't send back a penny. Don't get mad at Deion Sanders for leaving. Talk to the 87% who rock the gear but don't give back. Every year we hear about people talk about mind your PWI business. Mind this, mind that. Don't come to our homecoming if you couldn't go to our school. You don't even give it back to your school. And it's actually a trained method. When you're at a PWI, and I'm not 100% sure how it happens at every school, but you have to apply for graduation. So when you go to your respective degree field or whatever building it's in, and you put your information in, it's typically like the middle of your last semester, if I remember correctly. The minute I put that in, about a week later, I started getting stuff from Florida State Alumni Associations about how much money I wanted to donate. I hadn't even got a job yet. I was still playing ball. I wasn't even thinking about that. Florida State has all kinds of different ways that I could donate to the athletic program. I've got the varsity club, which is marketing for guys who have been varsity athletes at Florida State. We've got, my boots, regular traditional boosters. We got now name, image, and likeness, and all of these other different things. And let me tell you about what it's like to work with HBCUs. It's a lot of talk, a lot of pride, but not a lot of action. I went round and round, fucked around, and made an NIL collective for HBCU, thinking I had the backing of alumni because that's what they wanted. And you know who the only person who donated to that NIL collective? Me. The only one. They got way better notable alumni. It's like a time situation where if I would have minded my own PWI fucking business, I could have probably saved a lot more money. Could have probably kept about 10K in my pocket. But I listened to a prominent lawyer. I listened to a prominent grocery store owner. I listened to a prominent different things that said that they cared about it and they wanted to keep this kid. Matter of fact, remember we talked about this, Miles, on our show too. They said when he ain't swag, right? He's not swag. And some guy put up there why Deion Sanders was swag. Deion Sanders convinced the top FCS player went to FAMU. He convinced him to stay and not go to a PWI. That's swag. He convinced him to do what the fuck he couldn't do himself a few months later. Do you not understand why people might be mad? Is that not a little hypocritical? Hey, man, hold up, dog. Don't chase that bag. Black culture, black culture. Oh, man, fuck y'all niggas. I'm going to Colorado. I'm going to the whitest place in America that I can play ball. Outside of Montana and North Dakota. But again, nobody reaching out to try to give these players all that pride and nothing to match with. It's not just Jackson State. Jackson State actually has a very well-organized alumni group. FAMU has the same issues. Howard has the same issues. Hampton has the same issues. All these other HBCUs have the same issues, but yet you sit down and you poke and you want the young athletes to come. That doesn't mean that Deion should have chased money, but because Deion said it wasn't about money. But at the same time, put your money where your mouth is. Or shut the fuck up. What PWIs have, not PWIs, what HBCU should do, and this is what I would do, is that I would take, like, especially ones like Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, FAMU, if you're good born in America. Shout out to those guys finding love and not letting marriage interrupt them from finding their soulmates. I love that. It's just one of those tweets that said that. I always thought it was the funniest tweet ever. But FAMU, if I'm you, I go across the tracks. I stop this. Yeah, it was racism. And racism still is prevalent. I'm not even going to hold you. It's business too, though. We not handling our business. Man, I'm going over to Mike Alford and saying, yo, Mike, lay it out for me, dog. I want to see exactly what y'all chain of command in your organization structure is. I want to see what football looks like. I want to see what your administration looks like. I want to see what basketball looks like. If Florida State football has 20 coaches, 10 on field, 10 off field, FAMU needs to have it. No, you can't spend the amount of money that Florida State spends on Mike Norvell and staff, but you can do it on your own way, and you can go apply for government state, like temporary government jobs. I forgot what my mom used to wear. My mom actually had one at FAMU in athletics where she got paid like between $30,000 and $40,000 a year. You don't have any benefits, but you can go do that job and let them be assisting you on the football field. A lot of guys will use that as a foot in the door to be able to come in and coach. And now you have a mini version of what a PWI has. But so many times we want to reinvent the wheel. We want to be our own. We have this thing where we have to compete and it has to look exactly the same. And that's just not life. But because of your unwillingness to do it, and I've been saying this for years, you took these $1 million ass whipping games and you did nothing to back your infrastructure. So you have nothing to even be able to compel Deion Sanders to even stay. No facilities that you build will keep a guy like that. No facilities that you will build will keep a guy who can win. Why do it here when I could do it somewhere else? And that's what really hurts. It's because now you had to face the fact that you're just not good enough. And it's not that you can't be good enough. You're not good enough because you haven't done what was necessary to separate yourself and put those things together. Put your money where your fucking mouth is, or shut the fuck up. Because Dion should have never been your savior. Because you know why? Dion went to a PWI and he should have minded his PWI business like y'all been asking us to do. Or you can realize there's not enough of us and that there's strength in numbers, and what you should be doing is going and finding guys who probably did go get PWI educated to be able to come over here and show you what some of the good systems that they have that work here, how to adapt it to what you have going on, which some of y'all have done. Or stop the good old boy network, because here's what happens with black people too. You colored people don't like to admit this, but we have our own good old boy network. You know why? It's because you hire people that you know and that come out of your circle. But stop just hiring people out of your circle because they're your boys or your frat brothers or your sorority sisters, and hire the best. And hire people who have true care. Like FAMU, y'all not hiring Angie Suggs was the dumbest fucking thing you could have ever done. Angie's fucking amazing at her job. Angie worked with Republicans, and she's a Democrat more than likely. And them motherfuckers ain't firing her because she's fucking good at her job. Now, I'm going to take this second and remind everybody that Brett Favre is a terrible person and should be prosecuted and possibly stoned to death for what he has done to the people of Mississippi and stealing money. That's the real villain in all of this. I'm not sure how it works, but the real villain in all of this is Brett Favre stealing money. But let's go over here. So back to more stuff with Colorado. So Colorado is offering Dion. Colorado went all out. For people who don't realize, Colorado couldn't even participate in the transfer portal because they have this rule where you can only transfer in if they have the degree you have it. They don't have mirroring degrees. So where most football players have social science, or if you watch a football game, right, and you see the starters and they list their majors, if you see, like, you'll always see 75% of the team has the same major. Those are called football majors. Like, you didn't come to school to play school. You came to school to play ball. And, so they don't even have those. So now so if you transferred in, there's this thing with the NCAA that you have to have progress toward graduation. If you're a freshman, 20% of your degree, you have to be 20% toward graduation. I think it's 40, 60, 80. By the time your senior year, you have to be 80% toward graduating, even if you don't graduate. If you don't, you have to be suspended, blah, blah, blah. If enough people don't have that, then they tweak some things for you. They're going to get you they're going to get you graduated or close to graduating. Because if you don't, then there's this thing called the APR, which comes in, and that's those who would graduate. So if you come in and you transfer in and you don't have credits towards your degree, let's say you're a junior, they can't bring you in because you're going to be a progress toward graduation casualty. So they changed it to where now they have a new pilot program that creates degrees for people. Basically, that's the song. Let me see if I can find it so I can actually read it to y'all, because there was a whole ass article written on it a couple days ago. All right, it is. Chancellor Phil DeStefano. I'm happy to announce that in coordination with our faculty athletics representatives, we have initiated a pilot program for transfer credit review that facilitates the expedited review of academic credits from other institutions in order to assess their acceptability at CU Boulder as electives. This is not only helpful for student athletes looking to continue their careers at University of Colorado via the portal, but also for Colorado residents who are attending other universities out of state and want to come home for their degree. The institutional change, combined with the new NIL collective and student athlete resources we already have in place, will help provide the tools that are necessary for all our athletic programs, including football, to succeed. So these are the reasons why Prom chose Colorado over Georgia Tech and South Florida. From my understanding, Colorado was always the choice after talking to a few of the coaching candidates that he has had. And it's because they have a healthy alumni base that has said that they're willing to step up and donate. Wink, wink. Hear that, HBCUs? Healthy alumni base that says they're willing to step up, donate, not just to the cause for Colorado athletics, but for name, image, and likeness, to be able to help recruit, secure potential transfers and top-notch recruits. You see, it is more than just being out. It's more than just repping the colors. It's more than just singing the alma maters that sound like Negro spirituals. It's more than the convocations. That's what they do, where you guys go up there and you line hymns and you do all kind of shit from back in the days when Harriet Tubman and them went to college. It is more to it to keep the top athletes. But Deion Sanders is at Colorado. I think Deion could be extremely successful at Colorado. I think Deion he's already got a kid that says he's committed to class of 2025. I don't hold much weight with that, but good luck. IMG Academy, I think the number one wide receiver in that class. He ain't my guy, Jamie French, though. Deion's energy, and it's all determined upon what your staff is. Because Deion is still doesn't have the experience, but Deion was a great player. Obviously, he's a great motivator of men, which requires a little bit of manipulation, but he does a very good job of that. Deion is going to have to hire qualified coordinators. He gave a guy a chance who was as a defensive line coach, but he's had some experience at Alabama and at Texas A&M, so SEC. He's coming in. This is his first on-field job. They say I think he's bringing like his safeties coach and his running backs coach from JSU. And Charles Kelly and T-Rob, Tavares Robinson from Alabama, Charles Kelly of Florida State, are the coaches that are being rumored to be coming over to help fill out his defense. Now, Charles Kelly, for Florida State fans, if you remember him, that was Jimbo Fisher's defensive coordinator. Jimbo Fisher left to go to Texas A&M, a better job, and he basically did to Charles Kelly what Deion Sanders is doing to his entire staff at Jackson State. Fuck y'all. Y'all not good enough to come with me here. Y'all going to have to stay. He left Charles Kelly to go be on his own devices, and nobody hired him except for he went to Saban's rehabilitation camp. So maybe Saban can rehabilitate him, but I doubt it. Charles Kelly is going to be your defense coordinator. And I had to educate somebody. This guy told me that Deion's in the is in the Big 12. Nope, it's wrong, sir. You couldn't be any wronger. Deion is in the Pac-12. Deion is in the Pac-12, and he has to go up against the likes. Let me get Colorado's 2023 football schedule. A 1-11 ball club, by the way. Starts off the year with TCU. TCU is in the college football playoffs, by the way. Nebraska has Matt Rule, former Baylor coach, former Carolina Panthers coach, new in Nebraska. Pretty fucking good coach, college coach. You're going to beat Colorado State. You're going to go see my boy Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. So that'd be a battle of two programs that have new coaches. I think Arizona State probably has better talent than Colorado, but we'll see. Arizona's not very good, so you have the opportunity to have a 3-game winning streak right there. Oregon State's going to beat the shit out of Florida December 17th at the Las Vegas Bowl. Stanford's not any good. USC, yeah, Lincoln Riley going to kick that ass and make a name for himself on you. He going to get all up in them cheeks. Sorry about that, Deion. Especially if Charles Kelly's your DC. The Mighty Ducks of Oregon, yeah, Dan Lanning finna beat the shit out of y'all. And he just hired Joe Brady, LSU's former offensive coordinator with the national championship. Yeah, them motherfuckers for the boat race y'all ass. UCLA, Chip Kelly might be a fairy, but he's a really good coach. The Utah Utes, yep, reigning Pac-12 champions right now. Washington State. That's not a schedule I'm bringing Charles Kelly on. I'm sorry, guys. Like, y'all can hate me. Like, Deion, you going to fuck around and be back at HBCU. HBCUs, y'all going to fuck around and get Deion back. Nick, I don't know, bro. I got a big enough audience, man. Don't let these views and numbers get it twisted. The only thing that matters, Warchant's been doing this since before I got in high school. Warchant covered me, so like that's how old they've been doing. They've been doing it for a long time. Like the first article first time I remember Warchant was when they had me. Hey, let me tell you about journalistic integrity. First Florida State commitment happened after the Bobby Bowden football camp before we went into my senior season. They put Florida State's new first commitment. It was Rona Hawkins. It was me. It was like 10 guys. Everybody's hitting me up like, James, was it you? Did you commit to Florida State? I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. We saw you back then when you were on the internet. Like that meant like people thought you did something. Like they thought you were somebody. Because we all didn't have internet. I only got internet when I went to school. So I had to go. I'm over here trying to research my fucking self at school. They also said I was 6'4", 250 pounds. I have never been 6'4" in my life. If I was 6'4", 250 pounds, life would be a lot better for me. But anyways, I'm just going back to what I was saying. Deion and Charles Kelly, I think that's just not the guy who I would want to start off my career with as coordinator. And if it's rumored, now T. Rob is a great recruiter. I don't know how good DB coach T. Rob is. Charles Kelly is actually probably a pretty good position coach at linebacker. You got a new D-line coach. You'll probably get a defensive ends coach. So that's your defense is pretty set up. Offensively, you are bringing in allegedly Willie Simmons, who ain't swag. Willie Simmons is Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University's current head football coach. So Willie could potentially. Willie's entertained these coaching jobs all the time. Like Willie almost left to go to South Carolina last year to be the running backs coach. Willie's done a lot of different things, but Willie may go, may not go. But I'm gonna tell you this much. I'm gonna read this off to you again for those who weren't paying attention. Washington State, good defense. Utah, good pass defense. UCLA, I only know Chip Kelly. I ain't gonna hold you. Dan Lanning at Oregon, good defense. Lincoln Riley gonna get that defense together. Nebraska and TCU both gonna play good defense. It's not the place where I want a coordinator that I have no idea how he's gonna do on the FBS level. I'm all about giving opportunities, but I'm giving opportunities if it's earned, especially when it's my name on it. So but there's also rumors that he may be bringing in what's my guy name? He used to be the Dallas Cowboys coach, which I think that'd be. I just don't believe that bullshit. But like if he does that, Jason Garrett, if he brings Jason Garrett in, then goddamn, that's a home run. But I think Deion could be successful there. And and for my people who are hurt about him leaving HBCUs, keep the faith. His ass ain't gonna be at Colorado forever either. If Deion Sanders goes and he's able to get 8 wins at Colorado, he's gone immediately the next year. It's a stepping stone job for the next thing. Deion wants to be on the biggest stage. Deion really truly wanted to be the head coach at Florida State. And if he can't, he'll be the head coach at the next best thing. Deion still has a lot of things to learn to be a head coach, but to be a head coach, you don't have to be an X's and O's dynamo. You have to be a good leader of men. And I don't know if Deion's that, but if you can go, Miles, I think I sent you. Did you open up the YouTube thing with Deion? I sent you that link. Oh. Actually, you could have just pushed that. Shoot. It's got the commercials and stuff on it. If you can go to 744. And I want you to listen to Deion's and how he introduced himself to the team and what he's talking about with that going on. And then I'm gonna wrap this up because I have no idea how long we've been on because I still can't see this stuff. I gotta get me some glasses for Christmas.
Okay, 744. So I want y'all to get ready to go ahead and jump in that portal and do whatever you're gonna get. Because the more you jump in, the more room you get. Because we bring kids that are smart. Say that: smart, tough, fast, disciplined, with character. One more time: smart, tough, fast, disciplined, with character. That's the one.
You push, Paul. Now, I will say this: if you're watching this, because one thing I've never been is a hater. I'm a critiquer, but I'm not a hater. That's a badass suit, man. That motherfucker wearing that suit, dog. It's like, I look, man. Listen, dog. I look at stuff and I be like, and I tell my two tailors, Lathan and Mr. Cass, I be like, hey, man, yeah, let's not reinvent the wheel. Give me that right there, the whole boom right there, man. It's Will Taylor, especially when I see guys like I got Kenny Dillingham. Kenny's just wearing an off the rack suit, and Kenny's suit is just so baggy. Like Mike came in baggy, Tag came in like, it's just you're a millionaire, bro. It didn't. You can go to the Arabs at K&G over in Jacksonville. They'll tape you up for $100 and give you next day. But if you listen to what he said, one smart, fast, physical, discipline with good character. Character is a term that's always used in sports. I have no idea what character means because it means different things to other people, but words have true meaning. Like there's a reason we have dictionaries. Character is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. So I guess maybe all those other qualities that he said, fast, smart, physical, tough, maybe that's character. The strength and the originality in a person's nature, a person's good reputation, a written statement of someone's good qualities. So when most people say character, they mean a person's good reputation. And this is what I find rich and find odd. That Deion Sanders, when you bring up Deion Sanders, basically his written record, your record of what you've done. When you bring up Deion Sanders' record of what he's done, it's hating. So if I'm to bring up Prime Academy, I'm hating. I'm hating on a black man and I'm holding a black man down. Not that one black man ran a corrupt organization that destroyed the lives of numerous African-American children. But I'm hating because I bring up Prime Academy and I'm holding a black man down. Okay. One, that room looks 65% black, like you said in that press conference. Anybody who's watching this on YouTube, because you can't I'm seeing why they were 1-11 right now. Like that might be the problem. Prime might need to go bring all these Jackson State guys coming up in there because they need a little bit. But it could be. It's cold. If you light skin, you get lighter in the cold. So they ain't really got no sun. So that could be. I don't know. It was just I need to go see what Colorado's the actual percentages are because that looks very pale. But you went to Jackson State. You got a bunch of African American men to buy into your vision to try to transform it. Then you left. I'm sorry if you come into my living room and you talking about my son's character. I'm gonna be like, who the fuck are you to judge my son's character? Right. But at the end of the day, kids are going to go to Colorado. Colorado's going to be decent. But Deion's going to have. Here's what's wild, though. Deion said, in this profession, you either, what does it say, exalt? Not exalt. He's like, you either, damn, I forgot what he said. That motherfucker, that was a bar, too. Something or expire. You either, you leave on your own reconnaissance, basically, or somebody makes you leave. I just read that first year schedule. That's a motherfucker. If he doesn't get 4 to 6 games in that first year, that second year is going to be hot. That's it. You either elevate or terminate. Thank you, Corey. Elevate or terminate. If Deion doesn't elevate, he'll be terminated. And then you know what it's going to be by the Deion supporters? These white men ain't give him a chance. But you know who did give him a chance? You reap what you sow. And I hope that he sows what he's ready to reap. And I hope he reaps all the benefits, whether it be good or bad. I want nothing but success for Deion. But at the end of the day, what we have to stop doing as a society, whether it be I had a good friend that says we make excuses for the people that we like. That's not real. Whether it be 4-5 in the January 6th things, you can like 4-5, you can love his policies. They could be your favorite person in the world, but you must admit that that's bad. Whether it be Biden, you must admit that continuously giving this much stuff is terrible. Like, you got to do something. Some of his policies are failed and washed. You can like whoever you like, but at the end of the day, you can't. I'm not going to call a duck a dolphin just to make you feel better, especially when that duck don't give a fuck. Appreciate you guys listening. Make sure you check me out at sportsden_live on Twitter. On IG, we got a bunch of different things going. We will be having a tailgate for the Cheez-It Bowl. Congratulations to Florida State. We will be having we're still having our children's not book bag drive. We already did the book bag drive. We're still having our gifts for good grades. We're about halfway to the small goal, so we raised $1,500. We can raise another $1,500. That'd be dope. If we can raise $4,500, we'll be able to give 200 kids some gifts. All those things will be great that we're gonna do. Make sure you're enjoying your holiday season. And again, I don't care what you think. I just care that you think. Appreciate y'all chopping up with me. See y'all tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the Sports Day.